Hey everyone, this is Alaska from Call Out Culture. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. And if you are enjoying the podcast and you feel inspired to start your own, let me tell you about the system that we use. It is called Anchor. Best things about Anchor, it's free. There's tools that allow you to create and record and edit your podcast right from your phone and your computer. You can even add a song from Spotify directly into your episodes. The possibilities are endless of what you could create, whether it's like music analysis or your own radio show or something that the world's never heard before. I don't know what that is. You figure that out. Not my job, yours. Anchor is going to distribute the podcast for you so it'll be heard on Spotify, Apple, and all the other podcast you can use. Like all you do is you upload your podcast and boom, it appears in the other feeds. You can also make money through advertisements like this, or you can also set up like your own sort of Patreon fan support thing. There's no minimum listenership, and everything you need to make your podcast is in one place. So if you want to do a podcast, you want to be like us here at Call Out Culture, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and get started.
Welcome to Call Out Culture Podcast with Alaska, Curly Castro, and Zilla Rock. We're here, Call Out Culture Podcast with me, Zilla Rock, Curly Castro.
What up?
Hi. You're not on camera. I haven't seen you.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay, good stuff. Alaska, our other co-owner, co-host, could not make it tonight. In his place, we have, I think this is Defcee's like fourth appearance potentially.
That's return
Third.
guest, and then also tonight we have first time guest.
First time.
What they say? First time call.
First time, long time. It's me, Vinny from Brooklyn. First time, long time. Check it out. The fucking Jets, you know.
So I'm gonna let y'all talk. I hate that. I'm gonna let y'all talk. I just want to put this out there.
No, well, in Philly, it's like, yeah, this is Vinny from South Philly. First time, long time. Donovan McNabb, he's not the answer. I'm gonna hang up and hear what you got to say.
Yeah, I hate that. I'm gonna hang up and hear what you gotta say. Even though that's the nature of it, but it's just so funny to me.
Always like, I love the show. Big fan. Listen, do you really think Jalen Hurts can play quarterback? I'm gonna hang up and listen to you at this.
And it's like lighting the fuse. I'm gonna hang up and let y'all talk. He light the fuse and then he runs and shit.
Yeah, like why? You know why did you wait on hold to not
to set up this premise to blow everything up and then like I'm gonna let y'all talk and then go. It's just like
it's like being on our podcast and you just say hi and then we just talk for an hour and 45. Like, all right, thanks, guys.
It's like when we have Griff on the podcast. So we control Griff for like a remote cattle prod. We got to let you talk, Griff, and y'all don't see that. We do that
straight up. So we have the first time guest with the
Messiah Musik, who has his imprints on all of our good stuff. So that's just the bottom line. Like, this man, if you're not familiar, you close your eyes right now and you can hear one of his beats on all of our records.
Straight up.
And been working together for quite some time at this point.
Even my wife freestyled over Messiah Musik beats when we were driving down the fucking coast of California many moons ago.
And I was not there because me and his wife would not be friends as we are today.
She was shitting on her friends. She was popping wild shit. It was great.
I've known Messiah long enough when he was two people.
Yeah, we kind of came in as a collective. It was even more than two people. So, but it was always kind of like me and a couple of guys that I came up with that I thought did their thing and I kind of did mine on the beats and we were all Messiah Musik, so I was kind of it was funny like to pivot into like Castro was saying. The individual, but it's a good way to keep your ego in check at the same time, so
down from a honorable surplus to one. Last man standing.
Wow.
But no, it was cool because I watched it when it happened and I remember Messiah, me and my peoples would have these like conversations. And I'm like, no, it's two of them. I'm like, nah, what are you talking about? Like, no, it's just
But
one
like,
guy.
they're all my guys though. Like, shouts to Jimmy, shouts to Barish. They're out there. You know,
Mhm.
I still text with them regularly. Like, childhood friends still in my
that's crazy.
life. So
No, that's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
you know.
When we met you in Baltimore, that's when it was like, okay, how many guys are there? And you don't remember that, do you? You remember we met you in Baltimore years ago?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. No,
Baltimore.
it's one of like 3 shows that I've been to in the last
Crazy.
5 years.
Good
So,
stuff.
No.
especially
You gotta check
yeah,
out my
especially
peoples.
with
You
the
gotta check out my
pandemic,
peoples
yeah.
in Baltimore, though. You gotta check out Hike Keach.
Who's that?
You gotta check
Who?
out Brian Ennels, Hike Keach,
Brian
Infinity
Ennels.
Knives. You gotta check all those. My Baltimore cats.
That sounds familiar.
Yo, Brian
All
Ennels
right.
and Infinity Knives. That album last year, Rhino XXL.
Well, Z, let's tell the people
Yeah.
what we're here for.
So we're here for. Oh, and Disco Vietnam sends Messiah Music his warm regards. Big time fan.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
student.
an honor to now have all 3 hosts of Call Out Culture podcast on my beats. So
You're right. Alaska fucking
yeah,
there it is.
now with Trapdoor.
We're honored that Defcee and Messiah Music would choose this meager podcast built from these immigrant hands from the hills of Slovenia.
Because he's annoying. So normally we do live for the liner notes with our material, but we make special exceptions
It's true.
for special people.
We did it for Gang and Amani. We did it for Arm and Hammer.
Arm and Hammer, and now it's y'all.
Brass. Did
We do it for
Brass?
Alaska.
We do it for
Alaska,
Alaska.
yeah.
Alaska.
Alaska's
So I was
like,
thinking
oh,
about this today. So Alaska is the
so-
Capadonna Wrecking Crew.
mhm.
I'm gonna knight Defcee. He's the Lot of Dark Man of Wrecking Crew.
Ooh. Oh, I
wild.
rock with that. I think
Now,
I'm
Lord, that's your choice. You could be Lot of Dark. There's Killer Priest. There's
Ooh.
a couple of little
Hellraiser?
silly.
Go
Heaven
Hellraiser
Raiser.
on Remedy. You know,
No, not
Remedy.
Remedy.
Remedy. Yo, wait,
no,
not
because
really.
y'all going for
He was
the
so excited,
stereotype.
so I said Remedy.
Remedy has a joint with 8 bars from all of the major players.
Well, the new album,
Not-
yeah.
it's not a Silver Rings. Like
Conway.
Remedy's album has legit features, not Silver Rings.
That's
Mhm.
the
Like you know how people say no homo is like no Silver Ring. That's the only reason I'm banging with Remedy,
Right.
because he has 8 bars from Inspector, 8 bars from Ghost, 8 bars from
Yep.
Kappa, 8 bars from Solomon Childs, 8
Mm.
bars from Master Killer on one song.
How
And then
many
he
were
raps.
recorded on Zoom? That's the question. Were they like on
no,
microphones?
son, I'm calling. Gun. They did a video, all of them in a video.
I seen the one with Deck. That was
That was them all together. So all I'm saying is Remedy makes legitimate. Hey, can you be on my shit?
right.
And they oblige.
Yeah.
Silver Rings.
Well, Defcee already claimed he was the Capadonna of Tomorrow Kings, so I'm giving
Right,
him a
so-
lot of Dark Man distinction of Wrecking Crew.
I just wanted to
think
let
that's
you
fair.
know there's still a Killer Priest position. Your choice. Maya Lance,
I think
probably
Messiah
like-
with us, he's like RNS or like fucking
Dreddy Kruger.
Joakim
No,
or
he's
like
Dreddy Kruger.
Dreddy Kruger. He's a Dreddy Kruger record.
Dreddy Kruger with all the Think Differently stuff. Like Dreddy
can fuck
Kruger
with it.
solidified. as
Yeah,
far
see
as,
that
like,
works.
putting
Yeah,
the
RNS.
compilation
I was thinking
together.
RNS because he was doing that GP Woo shit and Shaheem.
Well,
He was in his
Dreddy
own
don't.
little world.
He don't. The only thing Dreddy, he's not a producer.
He's not. He's
a
A&R.
He's a curator.
He's
He's
an
A&R.
A&R. Yeah. Or like Bronze Nazareth. He's kind of Woo adjacent, right? At this
Bronze
point.
is Will Jason. Yeah,
He's Will
and
adjacent.
he's I think they certified him and let him have like, yo, you got the Woo sound. Like they never really
He does.
contradict that,
Michigan
and
shit.
then
Right.
and they also will go to him
Mhm.
if they want like a throwback Wooish
He's
beat.
awesome.
I've heard. They
I got a
they
people on
run
the
the
album
bounce.
Rock Mars. He did.
Yep.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the breakthrough fucking LP, the
Mhm.
collaborative, explosive, dynamic, raw, heartfelt, well written. The bass lines on this album are fucking wild too.
Yeah,
I was
man.
just admiring the bass lines today in the car. The bass lines, something
Oh.
else.
Real quick, Trapdoor. We were privy enough to have earlier versions.
Correct.
The final version of
Oof.
Trapdoor is Inspector Deck's record pre-flood,
Wow.
as opposed to Uncontrolled Substance, which was the earlier versions of Trapdoor.
And
Y'all
Castro,
get
Fair
what I'm
enough.
saying.
yeah. And Castro, it's crazy that you say that because I've been telling people that like Messiah's beats are what RZA lost in the flood. Like
Nice line. Go ahead, keep that and use that in all your interviews.
Fair enough.
Sharif told me the same thing. Fat Boy Sharif told me the same thing when I told him that.
So let's dive head first in. I got a major
Crazy.
question.
Do
and
it.
then Z, I know you got your outline. So
Okay.
first question is, Messiah, since we know how you deliberate beats, and there's a lot of us samurai use your metal to forge our swords. Was Trapdoor a matter of Defcee collecting beats from you through that process over time, or did you find yourself making some beats as y'all got rolling for the final product?
So I really feel like Defcee and myself benefited from the time spent on this album, because I think there were like probably 3 separate time periods, and there might have been more than that, where you know, Def came back to me and said, you know, just check back in, status update, you know, here's where I'm at with the record, collect up a couple beats. And this was probably over the span of 6-7 years. Woo! So you got to think like that's probably, you know, that's a couple different production styles, I hope. I mean, I do my thing, my select thing, but hopefully there's some kind of range in there.
It's crazy
from that are reflected by the years. So anyway, I think that like, so there are some joints like Shell Game and Shortcuts, Definition of Insanity. I think that they're probably like some of the earlier cuts, where some of the later joints like Pyramid Dust, Snares, Small Comforts, I think that it really came together and benefited from there kind of being, you know, so many years between like checking back in, because I'm not someone like I get motivated in spurts to kind of really put the pedal to the metal. So like over a couple months, I'll make, you know, just a ton of beats, and then I won't for, you know, however long until it strikes me again.
Fire.
Until someone hits me up. So, which is more and more frequent. So it's no. I mean, you know, I don't mean to even. Is this on record?
Correct.
Cut that part.
No,
this is live. All live.
Don't even worry about like making. I get long with the answers, but no, that was to the effect of what I wanted to hear. So the album had many phases. All right, Z.
Yeah.
So when I was playing this album again today, and I think what struck me about it was it reminded me of the No ID album, the Black album.
The Karate School joint?
No, that's Ski Beats. The Black, Accept Your Own. What the fuck is that No ID album called? Accept Your Own.
You're pulling one from me. I'm not familiar.
You never heard the No ID album on Relativity?
I probably heard
Accept Your Own and Be Yourself, the Black album.
Okay, I probably heard the pieces, but I didn't know it was probably an album.
Yeah, it's like No ID and Doug Infinite, but it
no,
dropped.
Infinite? Oh yeah, I've heard.
Yeah. So it dropped.
Yeah.
Like if the CD goes for like $200 on Discogs or
so
eBay,
it's one of those rarity.
Right.
Relativity put it out.
So it was on Relativity on the strength of Common. I think this came out right after One Day That All Makes Sense. Not One Day That All Makes Sense.
Because Relativity, they got like 4 Common albums. Am I?
Probably. Now they have the first
3.
I think everything until like Water. Like Water was on
okay,
MCA.
Yeah.
But especially a beat like Commute to me is like very No ID in a way, but that era of No ID where it's like Chicago No ID, where it's like it's sad, but it's really poetic, and then it's really about like the feelings of that type of shit. And but then Defcee clearly MC wise, like different.
There's some what I would say is there's some different ladder rungs you hit
right
in terms of delivery and flow. Let me ask y'all either or Def, do you have any run-ins with Dion or Tony? Did you ever?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, by the time I started really
they were doing like upper level.
Yeah, I think No ID was like already kind of locking in with I'm trying to think of what he was doing. I remember
the Jay-Z
stuff. Like the Beanie shit?
The Jay-Z stuff?
Or Bow Wow? Yeah.
Yeah, the Jay stuff, the Bow Wow stuff for sure. He actually had, if you've never heard it, there's a group from Michigan City, Indiana called Midwicked that were on, I think, Motown or something.
Mhm.
And they have a song called "Like We Supposed to" that features Jaheim and Coffee Brown.
Coffee
shit.
Brown.
And no
Castro, that was
idea-
your girl.
Yo,
Yeah.
the
Both
beat,
of them, the group.
the beat on that song is
Crazy.
amazing.
Nice.
Amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But what
so
about
she
what
was-
about why not? Any bumping it? Like, no,
Nah,
okay.
it's so I think the interesting thing about Chicago hip hop, especially the underground, is that and I know I've mentioned this on a lot of different podcasts as well. Chicago is very interesting in terms of where it stands nationally because it's a city that's like too big to be an Oakland or a Houston in terms of the way that like people are going to be able to kind of sell hand to hand.
Right.
But it's also devoid of the major media outlets that New York, LA, and Atlanta have. So there's
Stuck in the middle.
right. And then you also have, for a variety of reasons, and some of them are deeper than rap, so I won't speak on them, but some of them are just kind of.
It seems like y'all lines of demarcation are pretty standard. Like this group is here, and the Pivot Gang is here, and then just from the outside looking in, that's what it appears.
I mean, I think that speaks to not only the fact that Chicago is like one of the most segregated cities in the country, if not the most segregated. Like we always kind of go back and forth with Milwaukee on that.
You want to come to Philly for a week? You want to come hang out with us?
I've been to Philly.
We're overwhelmingly black, but not when you go to certain areas. So we're majority black
but
city.
I think Philly lacks that that landmark or that physical line of demarcation. We don't have a wall or a bridge or a road necessarily.
Yeah, you're right.
And in theory,
in theory, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say this about the record too. So like a song like "Commute" to me is very Chicago. Obviously Pyramid Dust, crazily Chicago. What so if this album was over the course of 6-7 years, right? And like Messiah was saying about just the sheer amount of growth and changes and improvements everyone makes over that time as artists, why did you decide to say, okay, when this album comes out, the first 2 songs have features?
Boom, great question.
Because sonically it made sense. Like those were the 2 joints that were the lead off songs on the album. It's like,
so regardless of the guest features, the sonics of it made those the first 2 songs. Gotcha.
It had to, and the energy on both of the songs as well. And and when I kind of went into it too, when I look back at the sequence, because I sequence things really according to the sonic. A little bit of it has to do with lyrics, but most of it has to do with like sonically, does it make sense?
That's usually the foot you lead with.
I love the way the lead off tracks, the first 2 tracks, and I know Defcee asked me several times to weigh in on the sequencing of the album, and I tried to, but something about being so close to the beats and the music, I just like to get another opinion on the sequencing, and I love the way it came out.
I usually go for outside help, except my last record was the first time I didn't tell, because I don't ask Zilla. I tell Zilla, like, arrange this for me.
Yo,
one time
you sent an album to me, dog. It's getting rearranged. It is happening.
Anyway, I've sent it to him with instructions, not like, and he doesn't like get my albums and cracks his knuckles like, all right, here we go. What ended up happening was the reason we do that for each other is I was lost. It started with me. I was lost in the sauce about one of my records, and I needed.
Tosh? I think it was Tosh.
No, Fidel. No, remember we switched that big switch. Was that Tosh?
It was Tosh.
It was Tosh. So I had an idea of my first and last song.
Great record.
Thank you. I had it hammered in. This is the first song. This is the last song, and then we're working on the middle. Yep. And him and another individual, they was like, nah,
that was just me by this point. By this point, it was just
me. You sure?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
I'm really good at that. Just giving people bad news.
It was just.
I'm
good. I gotta understand. This is the most left field. This is my outro. Oh no, make that the first song. I'm like, please. Like, are you not listening to me? That's what we got. We got to the point where I'm adding. I'm like, are you not listening to what I'm telling you? But then he was like, all right, just divorce. And this was tough because not only that, they also Did y'all cut 2 songs?
We
no, y'all cut songs off Fidel.
We cut songs off Fidel, and then on Tosh, you just said my only rule is this is the opener and this is the closer, and I was like,
I gave them the record. I gave them the. I said my only rule is this is the intro and this is the outro. I don't care what happens in the middle.
And so when it came to sequencing, just to kind of speak to that a little bit, right? And circumstances and time really changing a perspective on a record. Part of what also changed my idea as far as the sequencing was concerned was like, okay, by the time this album comes out, you'll have gotten Summer Courses, Lacuna, Scenic, the Deluxe, We Dress the City with Our Name. Whew. Between all of those projects, very few features.
Correct.
So the thing that I wanted to be cognizant of was like, at a certain point, I do not want, like, I think that there's something interesting about the first 6 verses on the album. I only have 2 of them.
I love that.
And I think that there's also something to be said for the variety of like really trying to mix up the voices and then bookending kind of the album in terms of you have a posse cut at the beginning, a posse cut at the end. You have, I think after Shortcuts, there isn't a single song of those last 5 that's longer than 3 minutes.
Correct. I'm looking at the track list.
3 minutes. So like just in looking back at the sequencing, because I knew this was going to be my longest album, because it was 50, and originally it was 16, and then I cut one at the last minute because I felt that it was probably better served elsewhere.
So here's my theory. You ready for this?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm going to play the first drop.
Yeah, let's do the first drop.
Ready?
But
wait. Here's the drop. Here's my theory. And this is really magnified if you look at the life of Pablo. The fact that he doesn't close the album with Ultralight Beam is kind of insane to me.
Probably he doesn't close anything properly good.
Well, regardless, but he doesn't, like, when I heard Ultralight Beam for the first time, like, this is such a fucking album closer. I don't know why this is at anywhere near the beginning of a record to me, right? Because it has like, there's like a resolution to that record. Like that song has like a build up, a story. You're passing the torch to Chance, whatever.
Boom. Piggybacking off of that. Ghostface and Raekwon have horrible endings of albums.
I mean, yeah, they're amazing people, right? But like
that last track is always like
So to open up an album with Ultralight Beam, I was like, this is not. He kept saying it's a gospel album. I was like, but most of the album's about like ass. Like you're really just about chasing ass. Like this is maybe a couple songs are gospel songs. I give you that, but it's not a gospel album by any means. But if you close it with the best gospel song you've ever made, then it pulls everything back to like, okay, we were like fucking around. Right. We were fucking around, but at the end of the day, it's, we all know Ultralight Beam. It's a God dream. This is a God dream. Anyway, I say that to say the best album openers and closers can be reversed.
Interchangeable.
Correct. Right. So I actually want to play, I'm going to share my shit. I think Post could be an opener, but the fact you close with that shit makes it even more fire. You know what I mean?
And the title
calling it Post, right? So I'm going to play this joint real quick and we can talk about this. Because when you play it on a loop and it goes right into Rabbi and the Golem with our main man, motherfucking Henry Canyons, that shit is like, I want this to be on my iTunes again. I told
he's going to rearrange it.
I'm buying the album itself on Bandcamp Day so they get all my cash. But I wish it was on iTunes at the moment just so I could just loop that shit. Anyway, this proves my theory. We're going to play Post off Trapdoor from Defcee and Messiah Musik. The album closer that could have been the ill opener, but their genius is putting it where it is. Here we go. Live from the liner notes. Co-op culture.
I'm slapping money on the plexiglass. This lack of sunny in the weathercast is funny as an epitaph. Game is elevated, watch it dodging a propeller's path. There's flocks of different feathers past the complex sketches bred in brass. I'm heading back to life as mornings blanket drafty nights. Thinking through decision making, playlist full of bad advice. Headphones slipping over, hats elastic on my mask is tighter than how Doom would grab the mic. That shit is classic, right? First show, post plague, I'm sending an imposter. The Best impression gets attendance requested at the Oscars. Monsters pretend defenseless, press the desperate for their coffers. Now I'm on the first metro back to work, and I'm bothered. But I'm trying to keep my eyes on our blessings. We don't know what's coming next. We'll take our joy when we can get it. I'm trying to keep my eyes on our blessings. Want to help my kids shape this world better.
You are like two of the 5 people who've kind of heard every facet of this album who are not me and Messiah.
Ooh.
Oh, word. Interesting.
Here we go.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, see, I don't have post on this version. This is the old version of the record.
It's all good. I think the 4 of us know what the song sounds like at this point.
Yeah.
So,
So how about this? Yeah, so post, right? Having post be, to me, again, you could open the album with post. You're by yourself, rhyming, the beat's like kind of like a mid-tempo head nodder type of joint. It's got like, it's just some fly shit. You know what I mean? But why did you decide to open, like you said before about the ideas of the sonics, but like like Castro for his new album, for example, we famously know on Little Robert Hutton, you don't hear Castro's voice for like 2.5 minutes, right? On Vegas Vic for my record, I'm soloing it out in the first song. This joint, you have canyons. So like, what was your thinking being like the first song is me and someone? It's not just the Defcee show. Because post is the Defcee show.
Yeah, but I also think that like those first 2 joints in terms of rhyming in a way where I just kind of was like talking my shit was the headspace I was in probably around when Messiah and I started working on the album. So I think just from a content standpoint as well, the album then spans when I was operating with that attitude up until post, which is when it originally had a hyphen in the title because it was going to be, I wrote it the day they sent me back to work in the classroom after we were out doing remote learning for 9 or 10 months. So it was about that day of going back to work. And by this point, I know I have a kid on the way. By this point, you know, a year and a half has, or not a year and a half, but like a year plus has passed where we've all kind of been dealing with this global thing that we had never really grasped with before, or we never really grasped before. And we had no idea apart from finding out about the flu in St. Louis in like 1918 about any kind of historical precedent that would guide us toward what life after the pandemic, quote unquote, would look like. So it was for me, and when I went back and listened to the album, because I listen to the album a lot. Usually when I make music, the sign that I know that I've made something good is if I can listen to it and not just hear the mistakes. But I went back and I listened to it, and the album sounds like I'm kind of going insane. Like it starts with, I'm rhyming super hard, and then I'm like considering the world around me, and then I'm considering the immediate world as opposed to just the big picture world. And then my life kind of shrinks, and there's an acceptance of the things that I can't control and an acknowledgement that I'm never gonna have answers. So let me celebrate and have this little moment of joy on the end of the album, because not only have I gone through a lot, the listeners have also gone through a lot throughout.
So boom. So I'm gonna contradict you there a little bit. I don't think it sounds like you're going. It sounds like I told you when we started that you were hitting different rungs on the ladder of delivery and content. This is a full meal, brother. This is like one of your records. This is the one step past. Well, to me, one step past Damn Near Grown, 2 steps past Lacuna. Like, this is a full meal. So we're not just, you're getting all of these flavors from, what I'm saying, as Raekwon and them will say.
Yep.
So yes, early in the record, you can be a little bit more battle rapperish. Then there could be some manic moments in the middle, and then there's some restitution at the end, whether it be commute, post, as we mentioned, like just recalling things But then also there's a powerful, tell me the verse about you teaching in the juvenile detention center. Which song is that?
Time Off.
Time Off. Okay, cool. And that's like in the middle, right?
Mm.
So the way that starts is I'm just listening to you rhyming, and I don't even get that you're rhyming for detainees until the song opens up. And I'm like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So now we're understanding that we're hitting the steps to the basement. We're going to the depth. It's not just surface area. So I'm just saying, like, I get what you're saying, it because you do go a lot of different directions, but I feel like it's a full meal, it's full plate. And that's why you're getting all those different spices.
Miles Davis on the train, keeping me calm, telling me that there isn't such a thing as a lost cause. Today I taught my students how to count bars. It was hard to tell kids to freestyle in a room full of armed guards. I get kinda blue when my check's late, but they're kinda blues a sweatsuit with counting numbers on the breastplate. I'm not trying to save anybody, it's not the point. I'm trying to convince somebody it's worth it to save their voice. But by their count, they're counted out by everybody. Their mama, the system, their religion, and a jury that isn't of their peers. Giving years for some kid shit. Digits on their wrist and permission they gotta ask to take a piss with. I'm headed home from work trying not to sob, but this a drought.
And that, I appreciate that. I really do. And I think, that was chronicling that 7-year period that we worked on the album, because it really was like probably the closest thing to a living diary that I'll ever write. Was this idea that, or the thing that I keep coming back to and thinking about is just I'm hearing in real time what I'm wrestling with within and without. And then by the time you get to 50, which is a hard song to listen to within the context of the album. I think if I listen to 50 outside of the context, I'm able to appreciate it as a song. But when you relive everything for like the first 3 quarters of the album, and then you hit 50, it's like, you feel kind of the full weight of, or I felt the full weight of everything that I'd experienced up until I'd written that song. So I definitely feel you. I think in terms of the rhyming and the patterns and the flows, absolutely. That, I took them in a whole bunch of different directions where at the beginning, I'm kind of more in the pocket. And then by the end, I'm dancing and doing a little bit more in terms of the cadences. But I also think a lot about the content.
But let's get to the first big moment on the record to me.
Okay.
Where we know you're hitting something else. So see, I'm just gonna play it out loud over here, and you just put it in a place, just because I want to hear it.
Yeah, hit it.
And that would be the hook work on Shell Game.
Sure. We'll play this and then we'll take a break and we'll come back talking about it. I got something.
If the mouse gon' grin, lost your shirt, then come out your skin. Lost your life, then we'll drown your kin. All bets off if the house don't win. Cat gon' eat if the mouse gon' grin. Lost your shirt, then come out your skin. Lost your life, then we'll drown your kin. All bets off if the house don't win.
Hey, yeah. We live in a society, there's rules to the system that simply don't apply to me. You wanna apply your wares, well you know I gotta tax that. Licensing fees, best believe I need a kickback. The campaign coffers or it's off to the zoning board. Legalize extortion, civil asset forfeiture, corruption. Got everyone assuming that, but everything is legal when it's done through a super PAC. Yo, all I do is spark madism, populism, socialism, nationalism. Politics manipulates the people with the desperate to maximize the donor base. Homie, I'm an expert. Yo, thank you for your contribution to my net worth. I'll outsource your jobs and you slots can just forget work. Weaponize your pain even though it don't affect me. No matter what I do, motherfuckers re-elect me.
Wait a minute, cut this shit.
Yeah.
Damn, man, why don't you pump this shit up so it can fuck with my eardrums a little bit? Alright, bet.
Hey, yo, this is Chubzilla, one half of Sons of Andre, with the late Scorsese Lord Jones. Scorsese and I have a record together under the name Sons of Andre called Dungeon of Doom. It features some of my happiest production yet and some of Scorsese's best writing. It is available on limited edition cassette and CD and at every digital outlet you can get your music from, as well as insubordinaterecords.com. Dungeon of Doom features appearances by Alaska, Zilla Rocca, Poison Pen, and Alex Ludovico, stealing the goddamn show on this very beat. So you can go get Dungeon of Doom wherever you fuck with music at. Long live Scorsese.
Previously on Great White Buffalo. What's up, Duderino? It's me, Darko the Super, and you're listening to the Call Out Culture Podcast. This episode is sponsored by Great White Buffalo in select theaters and streaming on Bandcamp now. Darko the Super and Dean Freeman's Great White Buffalo from You Don't Deserve This Beautiful Art, the label that brought you watered down Demon Fuzz and Big Baby Gandhi's greatest hits. That's right, uddtba.bandcamp.com. The mad genius producer behind MF Grimm's The Hunt for the Gingerbread Man 2 and psychedelic hits from the Hellhole Store combines forces with Rumpled Romeo himself, Dean Freeman, who brought the world classics like Buy My Baby a Car and Nookie in the Mail. Don't miss a Great White Buffalo listening experience, or you just might regret it for the rest of your life. Now let's get back to your regularly scheduled programming. Fish and grits and all that pimp shit from the Call Out Culture Podcast.
All bets off if the house don't win.
That shit is hard.
Wait.
What? Oh, come on, the beat switch? Come on, fam. Not even fair.
Yeah.
Not even
Messiah,
fair.
you bastards. What the fuck is going to Beats Possessed? It's possessed.
What do you think? You small pro out here with the beat switches? Fuck out of here, man. You ain't seeing my guys.
Shout out to Small, shout out to Willie Green, the man behind the curtain.
Fanon too with the beat switches like a motherfucker.
Oh, I take some credit for that. That's me.
That's all you. Ooh.
This is like that beat switch reminds me of Prem's beat switch on Prairie.
Oh, come on, Prairie Barn.
Yeah, on Prairie Burn.
A
lot of
burn
good
or
beat
barn.
switches.
I've been saying it
It's
wrong
burn.
every time.
Prairie
Is it burn?
Burn.
Okay, sure.
A lot of good beat switches.
You know,
yo.
shouts to Def on the sequencing for this because that was a choice. That was just a freestanding beat that I sent. You guys both know how I do. So
yeah,
that was just a freestanding beat that I sent. Made the decision to end up there, and I think that was the place for it.
Shouts to our Patreons that were on the last Live from the Liner Notes live with us, having a ball. So if you want to fuck with us, we might do that again. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/culture podcast.
We be having it rocking over there.
Yeah, we do listening parties. We do exclusive clips. I have a clip I'm going to put on Patreon of just us making fun of Dan O's hat from Free Music Empire. Just 4 minutes of us ripping on this
some
motherfucker.
Exclusive music, exclusive pieces of episodes, like he's mentioned the Dan O hat review. So yeah, it's a good time.
It's a good time.
You pay what you want in a sense.
No, it's not pay what you want. It's definitely not pay what
it
you
is
want.
pay what you want. If you want to pay $20,
no, that's
pay
true.
that. If you want to pay $10, you pay that. If you want to pay $5, you pay that. It's which we want you to pay.
Yes,
see
and
what
you
I did there?
get the episodes at least 3 to 4 days early too. So there you got that going for you.
Yes.
All right, boom.
Yes.
So back with Defcee and Messiah Musik. So 2 things that stood out to me, knowing you guys for a long time and working with you guys on my own, and then being a huge admirer also from everything else you've done. The first question is for Messiah, which is, I want to get to the hooks with Defcee 100%, but I want to say first about the beats. Your beats are eminently simple in terms of when you just play them, right? But you make them very interesting. So I've been lucky enough to rap on your beats. I've been lucky enough to perform over your beats. I've seen other people do the same thing. So your beats, from a producer standpoint, it's not like I don't sit there and be like, how in the fuck did he make that beat, right? But it doesn't matter because it's like Ringo Starr playing the drums. You look at it, you're like, oh, anybody could do that. And you're like, actually, it's wild, interesting, and cool how this motherfucker plays the drums. So I look at you like that as a producer. I look at you as like a person that, whether you're working with Mock or Woods or Defcee, it's like you have pieces in there that are pretty straightforward, but I would never classify you as like a classic East Coast boom bap
sample
guy.
bass.
Is that,
yeah,
is that
like,
what-
we
so,
wouldn't paint you in that corner.
like, even though clearly like you're from that world and you have an affinity to
Absolutely.
it, like how do you go about the process on your own, describing your own style or how you go about making beats?
So, well, first of all, thank you. You know, I feel like I've just benefited from good fortune. You know, a couple good. Man, I have so much reverence for the work that I've done, and it's crazy. Like it's to the point where
Arm & Hammer songs will do that, won't you? They'll do the
man. Like I can kind of divorce myself as an individual from a contributor to the work. And so, you know, I'm just a fan kind of, you know, you guys who made this shit and turned it into, you know, something else. So, you know, I appreciate that. But I guess like starting out, I was just trying to make stuff that would sound at home on like Mad Villainy or Marsburg. You know, that's probably the truth of the matter. And now I try to be in competition with myself. Just try to like stretch it a little bit because I feel like I'm limited by my own methodologies, the way that I make beats. So I just try to like build on them and try to make them a little bit more interesting than the last time around. And just stretch it. Like I'm trying to hear something now that I know that, you know, this stuff is going to might end up on a record somewhere. I want it to sound interesting to myself as a fan of the music. So, I mean, that's how I would describe my process.
To the point, I still haven't said to you personally, so I'm saying it now. Like your collaborative work on Paraffin is exquisite. Like, I don't know if anybody said that to you, like you and Elucid combining forces. There was some exquisite work going on there because the way we got Paraffin first was people don't remember. Backwards put it out on vinyl strictly at first.
Right. Yep.
So I remember, with
no real solid track listing. And then when you went to download it, it was like one long track. On both sides. It was like side A, side B. And I remember me, Zilla, and Smalls trying to slice up the tracks. And
I love shit like that.
To your point of your creativity, Messiah, we got some of the tracks wrong because some of the beat switches we took as like new songs.
Yes.
And we marked, so we started cutting it up.
Yes.
It was one long track and we cut it up incorrectly because we were following some of the beat cues and we had some of the songs mislabeled and shit.
It was very inconvenient, which I'm like, oh, the music used to be this way. It was like very inconvenient.
Right. And it was taking us back to like how we used to do things where everything wasn't so laid out with the metadata all perfect and stuff.
Right,
it was very organic. And then 2 weeks later, they dropped it on the streaming and then they really let you know where the songs got cut and all that stuff. And I was just saying that was a great experience. So yeah, just salute to you on the work. On Paraffin specific, I just wanted to tell you that I've never been able to tell you that.
Thank you so much. No, I really
even
appreciate
on fucking Only Child, the NASA record, fam. Come on.
Oh my God, Messiah. Yo, that Only Child shit with NASA, that shit is crazy real. That shit is really, really good, son.
Yo,
that is really, we really we haven't been able to tell NASA.
Big up to NASA, man. And I hope that you know, like I feel like this one is really catching some fire now. I hope people go back, peep that record, just, you know, dropped
our whole fan
2 months
base
ago.
is built on reverse engineering. I've come to find out they will find something in the present and they will go back and outsource and source out. Well, when did this start? I know Defcee experienced that.
And that Only Child record is it kind of follows a similar trajectory in that, like, we had been working on it for a long time, and I think it benefited from kind of several different periods of production. So in NASA's, you know, in NASA's own just, you know, distinct way, which is completely different, I think, than this record sonically.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. But they all hold their own reverence. So we want to salute you and give you flowers while you're here, brother.
Hey man, I appreciate it. I can't tell you.
This is cool.
Seriously, I'm humbled and honored to be here with you guys. I'm just
sorry, this motherfucker's on $700 records, y'all. Listen to this guy, don't let him. We'll let him get it.
Magnum Band anymore?
He is humble.
He's on
You
the
know what
best
I'm saying?
album of
But let me tell
fucking
you-
the year. He's on the best album of the year. Pray for Haiti.
Debatable. Would you stop? See how you
It's
see
the
what
best
you
album ever. It's the best album of the year.
It's
Not
not
ever.
the best
but
album.
Several
You gotta
contenders
be
for the best
number
album of
one.
the year. I think
Best album.
I'd like to think.
Yes, you do. You have. Yes, you do. You're on my record. My record.
That's
is
right.
In the,
That's one.
is in
That's
the
one
battle.
that I had in mind.
We're
With
in the
that
battle.
statement.
Yeah,
I should,
we're
I
in
should
the
really
Royal
put
Rumble.
this.
I love all these
conversation on
albums.
speakerphone.
None of them are better than Pray for Haiti. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, let you the folks want to know. Put you on speakerphone. We'll let the folks know. Sure.
Here's what I want to know about. Speaking of segues, Defcee hooks. So, if you listen to this show and you know me, I'm not really enthralled anymore with guys that can't make hooks. You just rapping for one verse and a break and then another verse. And I'm like
very abrasive.
I'm just not into it. I just think it's a cop out. I think it's
the oversaturation of the one verse songs, no drums, no hook. Like now,
and the title has nothing to do with shit. I'm not with that. And so again, why I love Pray for Haiti is this motherfucker can make hooks.
Oh yes,
Defcee can make hooks. Curly Castro can make fucking great hooks.
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay.
Come on, stop. I do my damnedest out here. So what I want to know about Defcee is
all of my day ones.
They have day jobs. I think for this record though, what I like about your hooks is, and I noticed this a lot first on actually no, I'm sorry, I didn't know if it's the first, but I noticed it most recently, obviously on We Dress the City with Our Names. And then on Griff on Fireside Chats, right? And I noticed then, and then it's like highlighted with a fucking bright yellow marker on this album is like you're really good at doing hooks that are actually like lyrical and conceptual without being so fucking corny and like
because most rapping ass rappers and Def, you are a rapping ass rapper,
right?
Their hooks are raps. Right. And the only people that were able to master that, me, in my opinion, is Mobb Deep. Mobb Deep was the only people able
Havoc,
to Raekwon and Havoc specifically. Yes, thank you. Right. Master, my hooks are my raps too. Because
I just triple stack the vocals.
And I have a certain style. Like Raekwon hooks where if he wrote the whole thing out and that was italicized.
Yep.
But it was still within the paragraph, right? And so that's what struck me about this record in particular. I'm not saying you didn't do it before that, but this record in particular, there was very much a focus on outstanding hooks. And I'll even bring in like when Billy Woods made Known Unknowns. If anybody goes back to that, they always say that's his most accessible record. And he said, why? It's two things. He asked A$AP Rock, hey, what should I do to make a hit record? A$AP told him, you'll be mad at me. A$AP told him, rap on beat. That was his one. He said, rap.
Well, A$AP follows that edict.
He said, rap on beat. And he was I know he was meaning like be more, get some of that grid kind of locked in. But also, if you listen to Known Unknowns, his hooks on every song.
Yep.
And the evolved hooks, features, Woods doing different things. And I remember that standing out on that record. And that's the same way that the hooks on this record stand out to me. This is some of your great hook work where I will say the hook after the song, even though his bar work is crazy. I'm saying that hook, brother. I'm repeating that hook. You know what I'm saying? And that is a skill in itself. So was there a more concentrated effort, or you think you just leveled up, or you think
it was kind of a combination of things. One being that a conclusion I came to quite some time ago was that for a rapper like myself, if I want to make compelling music, I can rap my ass off these verses, but I gotta do something as far as the structure and the hooks in order to keep things interesting for somebody who, might not necessarily just be there for the rapping. So, I listen to pretty much everything. I listen to a lot of Gibbs. I listen to a lot of, I was listening to like a lot of Young Thug at a certain point, and a lot of Future. And
talk that.
Even Tomorrow Kings, I think too, those are guys who know how to write very dense verses, but also very catchy hooks. So
that's the A$AP gift. A$AP will kill you with the wordplay and the vocabulary and the multi-syllables, and then the hooks be like,
the river boils when it sees me. The river boils when it sees.
Or he'll go back to some 86 hook. Rock on. The rock rocks on. Like, he'll do that shit. And what it does is it pulls you out of that little matrix and lets you see the forest or the trees. Like, we're still in this hip hop world. We're swimming.
And then I think I also was just kind of like the way that the thing that the beats brought out of me emotionally, like, you want to talk about the Paraffin beats, the second verse on Time Off, I wrote that to the Eco Mog beat, the first half of the joint. Messiah.
Yeah, and Def, why is that on a track and not some weird old mixtape you were gonna do? Why is that?
Because you yelled at me very politely.
Boom.
In the text.
Hear that, listeners.
Not polite, yo.
It's not polite. It was just Def was getting on a nice run, and it was inspiration from the Paraffin instrumentals dropping.
Yeah. And
he had plans to do a mixtape, and I said, don't you dare.
But that verse wasn't what went on the Eco Mog joint that you heard. Like, that was the verse that I wrote. I heard when Wood said, when I heard Paraffin and I heard Wood say, instead of, what was it? Instead of, I'm looking the lyrics up. I don't care. Y'all can edit the dead air.
No, it's all good.
Because this is important, because these are like,
Woods will make it write a rap. He'll make it write a rap.
Absolutely. I mean, some of my favorite Arm & Hammer. It's this. Valuable silence in that asylum. Rather than shame, they built a monument to the violence. The way we play it don't sound nothing like a violin. And I heard that, and I was like, damn, instead of shame, they built a monument to the violence.
We don't play.
That. And then I thought about my job, and something that when Lamont Manuel and I were working in that detention center, a conclusion I came to, because we had to decompress every day.
Of course.
Fuck yeah.
Of course. Yeah. You do that with regular ass fucking jobs. And when you're working in the light, you're working with the light against the dark. Yes, sir.
This was different though. This was like, you feel survivor's remorse the minute you walk out of it. Like
great point. Great point.
Because you feel so much relief that you're not there anymore, and then you immediately feel guilt at the fact that, like, you've left behind the people, literally left behind the people who you're supposed to help.
Yes, sir.
And just in thinking about the way that whole system works. So in the state of Illinois, while the kids are in the detention center, they're wards of the state. So their parents don't have rights.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
The juvenile court proceedings are, you can't have press or media in there. I don't think that's unique to Illinois. I think that's nationwide. And when we were working there, we first started hearing about something called a blind plea. So
that can't be good.
So these kids were offered blind pleas, which was essentially door number one is you could take this blind plea and cop out to this offense. We're not going to tell you what sentence you're getting, but you can trust that it's going to be a lighter sentence than what you'll get if you go to court. And
that's the show game. You made a song.
Sit through the whole trial. And this is at a time when violence in Chicago and the pressure that was being applied to politicians in Chicago to do something about it was basically leading to, like, kids getting locked up for being outside, kids being locked up for hanging around the wrong people at the wrong.
I can't imagine with all that. People acting like fucking Chicago's like this bullet wilderness. Very, very disheartening. New York went through it too.
Yeah. And so at the time, then, and if you want to talk about New York, right? The solution that the politicians come up with, it's not, well, let's look at the root causes of what's happening and then figure out how to address.
Oh, hell no. Stop and frisk.
Yeah, no, we're gonna lock everybody up. So one person on this block has the hammer on them. We're locking every kid on this block who's hanging out with this person, locking them all up. And that's kind of what brought me back to that line. Like, instead of shame, we built a monument to the violence. Like, I think about how I was raised to believe that prison was something that was supposed to rehabilitate you when you did something wrong. Yeah, it's the exact opposite. And we should be ashamed of that. There are so many things about this country that we should be ashamed of, that we've just kind of accepted as normal. And bars like that inspired verses, which then inspired the hooks to bring it full circle. Because at a certain point, I'm writing these rhymes, I'm writing what I'm writing about on the album, and the emotional, the intellectual side of me is writing the verses, but then my heart is writing the hooks.
Boom.
And a song like Jail Game came from me watching The Big Short, which is one of my favorite. I love that movie. And watching it for a second time and just being infuriated. Because essentially everything about the housing market was developed by people who just wanted to squeeze as much money out of it as they possibly could at the expense of the people who were buying these homes for the first time when they couldn't afford them, just because they wanted somewhere to raise their families. And they wanted to be able to establish themselves in a way that generations of their family that came before them could not. And it was that kind of stuff that as I'm writing the music for this album just kind of came out of me, which is in the life experiences that came out of me and then bled into the hooks. And even some of the songs that were written later, because a good chunk of this album was supposed to be a separate EP and then was supposed to be the follow-up. And then there were certain joints that Woods really fucked with that made me reconsider and then added them back in. And then I took some joints off that a few of them are super fire and we're just gonna hold them for the next one.
So let's get into one of the hot ones here then, because I want to play it.
So a song like Compassion, right?
Okay.
I'm a teacher. That's my job, for those of you who may not know. And just like working in that school, it's like we saw all that shit coming. Like we saw the fact, for example, that when we sent kids back hybrid, COVID rates were going to spike again. We knew that was going to happen. We knew that when we sent kids back into the building without any kind of resocialization at the beginning of this school year, and we acted like the year and a half that the kids spent at home was one long ass snow day, we knew that was going to backfire, but we did absolutely nothing. So if they gave a fuck, they would act like it.
Cause if they gave a fuck, then they'd act like it. If they gave a fuck, then they'd act like it. If they gave a fuck, then they'd act like it. If they gave a fuck, then they'd act like it. Why we always gotta beg for money from a printing press? Different dresses, same devils reveling in eviction threats. Whole generations in a house made of gingerbread. Brains on drugs, all these classes packed with pickled eggs. Deep fake dreamscapes, imagination's freebase. Still starve for all the safe spaces that these creeps ate. MCs on the cheese.
Yo, Willie Green. I just want to go on record as saying,
shouts to him.
Mixing and mastering on this project is like, and I've been fortunate to have worked with a lot of people who are very gifted and have made my project sound very good. But this is the best.
Wow.
And like Compassion, have you heard that in the car?
Yeah, I have.
Yo, that joint in the car is crazy.
Smacks.
Crazy. I remember I was driving around listening to it. Like, I think I might have texted Dan while driving. Kids, don't do as I do.
I do it too much. I do it too often.
But no, like I texted Dan while I was driving and I was like, have you heard this in the car yet? Yeah. Because that shit is insane. And Green, just like the textures he brings out of these beats, which are already very like textured to begin with. That's one of the things I really rock with about Messiah Music's beats. It's just like there's so much there.
And I said that to Green too. I emailed him when he was sending back and forth these mixes, and I just said like I feel like you're bringing out sounds that I didn't even know existed in the beats. And he probably, to his credit, probably that happens every time around. So,
all right, bond. To that, I want to play another one, and then I have a question about another track. So we bumping snares now.
Can I say one more thing before we get into this? Which is that this whole album is 2-tracked. Like we didn't.
We'll talk about that.
All right, cool.
I know about that.
White supremacy is an illness we've passed on the children and still refuse to shield them with masks. Powers move to pieces as we fight to a stalemate. It's cold at the bottom and there's ice on the staircase. They loading the dice, pretend you in debt when they owe you their life. Look what they say, look what they write. Look how they lie, disrespecting their stripes. Look how they act, look at the facts. Spencer keep watching their hand on the track. You looking out from inside of your pack. Remember, we gotta stop letting them back. They loading the dice, pretend you in debt when they owe you their life. Look what they say, look what they write. Look how they lie, disrespecting their stripes. Look how they act, look at the facts. Spencer keep watching their hand on the track. You looking out from inside of your pack. Remember, we gotta stop letting them back. 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 Gotta stop letting them back.
That is ice on a staircase line.
What the fuck you talking about? The fuck out of here.
Ice on a staircase. That line, bro. Woo.
Jesus Christ.
On some Home Alone shit.
Oh,
that's exactly what I see.
Yo, I would not recommend the new Disney Plus Home Sweet Home Alone reboot.
Oh, God,
would not recommend. Do not recommend. My son has watched it. It's not.
Don't do it.
Dog,
Wait, did Jack see the originals?
He's seen the original back in the day, but this shit is there's no stakes. Like the fucking robbers become his friends at the end. I was like, what are we doing?
Oh,
come on. All right, so let's get to it.
So stupid.
Def,
yeah.
Talk to us about, and Messiah, you could chime in too, about shortcuts.
I thought you wanted to talk about snares, but we can.
Nah, snares talk for itself, brother.
Snares
I want to talk about shortcuts.
Snares is that work.
Shortcuts. So I knew I wanted Woods on there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And Prem was originally on a song that wound up getting cut based on feedback from people who
that's right.
And it wasn't, and it had nothing to do with Prem, had nothing to do with our verses or even the hook. It just was the beat was not up to par with the collection that we had on there. And we also had like picked a whole bunch of different beats for it. And it wasn't even that I've loved the beats, but I think it was more so just like the time when that outsider opinion, right? You get that extra bit of feedback and it does help.
Yep.
So I do want to take another shot at that joint for the next one, but we didn't have Prem on anything. I knew I wanted Woods on that beat. I wrote the verse to Shortcuts originally to the Barbarians beat from Rome. And then it just wound up fitting with that beat because I didn't know what to do with that beat. That beat is so fire, but I just didn't I didn't know how to approach it based on the drums. Because one of the ill things about Messiah Music's beats, he'll catch loops in places that you won't expect that'll force you to have to rhyme.
Agreed.
Like really think outside of the box in terms of how you're gonna rhyme on those beats.
Agreed. Because
there's no I can't hit Messiah up and be like, nah, man, that's
shit is wrong.
3/4. It's 3/4. Quantize it. Nah.
You literally can't.
That shit is good. Literally can't, and also the shit would be trash. Or if you sampled a different loop,
it wouldn't have the same magic.
That same sample, it just wouldn't give it the same energy. So I was like, okay.
What if I could?
What if I could?
I knew Woods would sound good on there. And then I was like, this is the only beat that makes sense. Because I want Prem on the album. But it only makes sense for Prem to be on this joint. Because in terms of his flow and the way that he rhymes, I already kind of knew that it was just going to be like.
And he destroys it.
I knew he was going to body it. And then
destroys.
Elucidated.
My partner don't play no fucking games.
I knew I could get Woods. I knew I could get Prem. Elucid, I wasn't sure, just kind of based on his schedule, and also he was.
You better make sure that moon is in retrograde.
Yeah, Jupiter got to be ascending.
Yeah, yo. He'll look up. That motherfucker look up the sky, be like, nah, I can't do it for you.
Nah, dog. Too
And
many
also,
clouds. I'm out.
I didn't have his phone number, so that's the other reason that I just like was not sure.
Nah, that don't help. And you can have his address.
I have his
that
number.
Don't
It doesn't matter.
You can go to his crib. That ain't gonna
You
help.
live on that block. Doesn't matter.
It ain't gonna help. No, man. You gotta,
like
the
my
stars
man
gotta be
Slime.
lined up.
My man Slime, you gotta if you want to get a beat from Slime, you better make sure he sends that to your email before you leave his studio. Otherwise, never get that beat. No, like Elucid definitely laced it. And Elucid and Woods verses on there sounded like Furtive Movements era Arm & Hammer.
Yep.
That's my shit. You know, I've got
There we go. You said
know
the
how
key
the
words.
fuck I get down.
Oh my god.
I hit Woods and I was like, this sounds like Furtive Movements era Arm & Hammer, but upgraded based on the work that you've done since then. So it's like the same texture and feel, but the rhyming obviously is like, 7 years ago versus now.
See, I'm sitting on right here.
See what you did there.
That wax, touch and agree, Messiah Music, soft places.
Yeah, those songs are crazy.
I got
Touch
that
and
one on
agree.
wax too.
Crazy. Touch and agree is crazy. What are you crazy?
One of my favorites.
And
that's
And
one of my
soft
favorites.
places.
Oh,
Soft
and
places
side
is
note,
great.
real quick. After Furtive came out, I said to Lucid and Woods at some point in person, I said, listen, I appreciate what you guys are going for. I know you have a lot of cool fucking friends. The only people that should ever produce Arm & Hammer is the Lucid and Messiah Music. No one else should produce.
That was only after you heard Roman Parapet. But
no, this was Furtive. When Furtive came out, I'm like, that's no one else should
Furtive
make
is
beats.
such a great record.
No one. I love
thank
Ron P
you.
remix. I love Brother Hall. I love all these people, but I'm like, I said to them back then, I'm like, it needs to be Messiah and Elucid.
I appreciate the cosign.
Yeah. They clearly
I
did
need
not listen
that.
to me, but what do I know?
Well,
Yo,
yeah,
Messiah,
I think it worked out for
Messiah,
him.
did you
Building
do
doorman.
Did you do Dust Jacket?
Yes. Yeah.
You did.
Building's got
Both
a
of the
doorman.
beats?
Come on,
Yeah,
bro.
both
This
of
is
them.
listen to me,
Stop.
man. Just
Stop.
listen to
I'm
me
not
talk.
Nah, hold on. Stop.
Ryan
stop,
Gold
stop.
in a rolled blindfold in a rolled cigarette. Ryan Gold.
Hold on,
The
stop.
news
stop.
said two fleds. Come on, bro. Get
Where
out
is
of
it?
here.
Where is it?
But I do have to say, right, like there are very few producers who I can remember hearing, like Remember Where I Was, hearing more than one of those songs, right? So
Right.
Messiah has two. They're both Arm & Hammer joints. And it's ironic because I was driving on Lakeshore Drive to get to and from work today. But one was I was taking the bus out around the time when we started, like actually it was like one of the days that made me want to work with Messiah when I heard Cloisters on Race Music.
Oh, come on. Stop.
And Wood's verse is like one of my favorite verses ever, just because it's the kind of joint where he imbues so much emotion in so many small moments that like you can't help but feel something like that.
Right.
And I remember where I was. I remember the bus route I was on when I was taking it, and then that beat was just like, wow, this is
The captain will do that. Yeah.
the most beautiful shit ever. And then Touch and Agree. I was on the Green Line,
Come on, man. Stop playing.
the Green Line train into the city. At the Ashland stop, the train was pulling into the Ashland stop. And I remember just playing that song over and over and over and over and over. And I think it speaks to Messiah's talent as a producer, something that you do with these beats, man. They pull something out of the rappers who rhyme on them.
I agree.
Yes, sir.
That's different. Like Drew, right? What's the joint where it's just a 5-minute verse of like, it's like Droog's best verse of all time on Crew Tour.
I don't even know what does that mean. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
Which one is that? Is that
No, I
the
mean
one
you
that
saying he has
Argyle
a
produced joint?
best verse or something like that. Does that make sense?
Uzbekistan or something. It's one of those. It's one of
Oh,
those.
the Kazakhstan joint.
Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's like that's the best Euro Droog verse ever.
Yeah, that just confuses me. I don't
Thank
understand how best and Drew verse, like in that sense. I don't really.
But
I don't know what language are we talking.
Shouts to Drew.
Suffice it to say I'm just gonna skate around that like Apollo Ono.
I'm just trying to understand the language you're speaking. We're saying like that's
So,
first, and we're saying
anyway,
what are we talking about?
Uncle Castro. Anyway,
ornery.
I fuck with Drew. He keeps me motivated too. I send him some beats. He's got some beats in his inbox. I was disappointed not to be on this one.
You were probably blessed not to be on this one.
Oh, look at that.
This one sucks. Space bar. You want to know why it's called space bar? Because you press it and you delete every goddamn.
To bring it back to what I was initially discussing.
Fucking fired on.
Hey, look, I just want to tell you, Zilla, teaching definitely has prepared me for trying to figure out ways to bring that segue back to what I was talking about originally.
Do it, man.
But yeah, no, Messiah's beats bring something unique out of everybody who rhymes on them.
100%.
So like listening to Capoeira Recall.
Woo.
Right?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Castro rhymes on Little Robert Hutton. Crazy. The whole joint crazy. But there was an extra gear that you hit on Capoeira Recall.
I had to keep up with the beat. The beat was so banging. I had to keep up with it.
That's one of my most unique kind of swings ever. And when Castro comes knocking, it's just it does give you license to access a certain kind of beat that, you know, maybe every artist
and I did
be
good on the
to.
song, but the swing on that beat deserved the hook. So I'm a little reticent that I didn't really get a hook going because of the nature of the song. Yep. But I was like, yeah, this gotta go. This gotta make it.
Yeah,
fire.
And also just like when you hear a Messiah Music beat, especially when you hear the one in the pack, there's always one in every pack that he sends you.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
But when you hear the one in the pack, it's undeniable. Like I might get beat packs from producers, and there'll be the one that's like, yeah, that's the best out of the pack, but it might not be undeniable.
True.
But Messiah, every pack he sends me, there's one beat and so like, of course, we work on this album for 7 years. I'm gonna get 15 undeniable joints from this man.
Yep.
So and that's, I do have to say that like, I think when it comes to, I'm very prolific when it comes to writing rhymes, like regardless of the releases. And he has a very similar pace in terms of how he makes beats. And I think part of what works well is that, and I also think that there's a connection there as far as there's something in the music. And it's the first time really that, apart from working with Knows the Time, that I've really felt that this is the case, and Fanon, in working on an album with somebody, in that center, there's just something that comes through, there's something that's being communicated through the beats that's finding something in the raps that's special. And I think about Vindaloo, I think about Shark Fin Soup, I think about Touch and Agree, I think about
Vindaloo's crazy.
Soft Places, I think about Eco Mog, I think about all of these Arm & Hammer joints I love, even back to the Quelle Chris, the We Eat It Addiction Cycles.
Hold on, wait a second now. Look,
now you derail the whole show.
Oh my
you say
God,
Quelle
like,
Chris?
You talking about niggas as men? Like, why are we doing that, man? Like, this is a
trigger warning.
This is about y'all record. Like, you bringing up niggas as men and shit. Like,
I'm bringing
green eye. Like, what's wrong with you, dog? Like, you crazy. Mr. Long told you can't touch it. Like, come on, man. Stop. Like, I don't even. Yo, I'm at to mute myself, man. Oh my God, yo. The beats and the patterns that Cav and fucking Quelle hit on that shit on your beats, Messiah. Get the fuck out. What the fuck's wrong? Fuck out of here, yo. What you talking about, yo?
Yeah.
I'm the most dangerous man in podcasting, yo. I'm telling you, man.
Highly dangerous. This is a lit fuse.
I'm telling you, man. Don't bring up no niggas as men and play around. I ain't no joke, man.
Don't do that.
Shit.
How is it that Tax Stone stopped making new episodes of his podcast and Cashflow is now the most
shouts to Tax Stone. Wow. Be safe though.
Yeah,
that was Z's guy.
I love Tax Stone.
But I think that I'm bringing all of this up because it's rare that you have Messiah on a podcast.
Oh, very rare.
And you deserve all the flowers that you're getting for the album.
Yes.
Well, thank you. You deserve,
we got the first. This is his first time.
Look at us. Exclusive.
You deserve
the
all
people.
flowers
We
that
do.
you're-
Yeah, come on.
This album, all of the flowers that you're about to get for the work that you're doing. That's not out yet, because you have quiet as kept, and I know that you're one of the most humble people I know who has this much talent.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, of course. I think that I'm very fortunate that you were willing to kind of wait as long as you did to kind of see this through to its conclusion. I think I'm very lucky in terms of Wood's patience and the label's patience in terms of seeing it through. I was very fortunate in terms of like all of the guests showed up with some of their best work. And, you know, I think it really is the first time I made an album where it felt like all of the elements cohered at the exact right time. Like if this album comes out,
no better feeling than you imagining the record in your head, and then when it plays somewhere and it actually sounds like that imagination. From a beat maker's percentage, from a producer, from a MC trust.
Oh yeah, because you get so close to the music that you don't know what the reactions are going to be like when you put it out there. So
no, not even. So you just sit back and wait. Z, what we need some more music. What do you want to play?
Yeah. Why don't we pick one more and wrap it up with?
I know what you're gonna pick.
Dog.
He's gonna pick Scape Grace.
Scape Grace 2013. That's my AZ chamber from these guys. That's some AZ shit, bro.
I told you, man.
That is some fucking coasting with gators on. And somehow that beat did not go to AZ. It went to fucking Defcee. And Defcee was like, I know what to do. Hold my beer. Scape Grace 2013. Play that.
Yes, and I got let's go to commercial. I got some off the record stuff to tell you about that.
All right, we're gonna go on break after we play this clip. Call Out Culture, Zilla and Castro, Defcee, Messiah Musik, live from the Lion Roast. Drunk as fuck, trashing your old group live.
A bitter flavor on the tongue. Another death, another razor in the lungs. Climbing up the ranks with tissue paper on the rungs. Damn, thought I'd finally turn the tables till they spun. Cash rent fed to the liquor store register. Working in the system, made my living off predators. Worst thing about my job was it existed. It should never take poems to save kids in the prison. 2 therapists, Jack and Jim. Ask them for advice, take a nap and then ask again. They can't give me what I'm looking for, I'll ask the hen. Taking 100 pounds of muscle to crack a grin. Snapping out a nightmare, smacking wind. Radiator quiet, but the windows cackling. I featured at open mics full of these rapper kids, and now I'm back at the beginning while they stacking in. As each day running to the next, I was struggling for more and I was hustling for less. Slender little digits huddled in a check. Kept a brave face button to the neck. As each day running to the next, I was struggling for more and I was hustling for less. Slender little digits huddled in a check.
Yo, AZ and Raekwon are like, damn. Why am I not getting Messiah Musik beats?
They can hop on the remix though.
I agree.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, so we Call Out Culture. We're gonna take a quick break and be back to sew it all up.
The Black Panther Party 10-point program, written October 15th, 1966. We want freedom. We want power to determine the destiny of our black community. We believe that black people will not be free until we are able to determine our destiny. 2, we want full employment for our people. We believe that the federal government is responsible and obligated to give every man employment and a guaranteed income. 3, we want an end to the robbery by the capitalists of our black community. We believe that this racist government has robbed us and now we are demanding the overdue debt of 40 acres and 2 mules. 4, we want decent housing fit for the shelter of human beings. We believe that the white landlords will not give decent housing to our black community, then the housing and the land should be made into cooperatives so that our community with government aid can build and make decent housing for its people. 5, we want education for our people that exposes the true nature of this decadent American society. We want education that teaches us our true history and our role in the present day society. 6, we want all black men to be exempt from military service. We believe that black people should not be forced to fight in the military service to defend want a racist government that does not protect us. 7, we want an immediate end to police brutality and the murder of black people. We believe we can end police brutality in our black community by organizing black self-defense groups that are dedicated to defending our black community from racist police oppression and brutality. 8, we want freedom for all black men held in federal, state, county, and city prisons and jails. We believe that all black people should be released at the many jails and prisons because they have not received a fair and impartial trial. 9, we want all black people, when brought to trial, to be tried in court by a jury of their peer group or people from their black communities as defined by the Constitution of the United States. We believe that the court should follow the United States Constitution so that black people will receive fair trials. 10, we want land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, and peace. When, in the course of the human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which are connected them with another and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them, a decent respect of the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to this separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal, that are endowed by the Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Little Robert Hutton, Curly Castro, out on Backwoods Studios. Get it now.
Co-op culture. Curly Castro, Silver Rock. The new Career Crooks album, did you guys know? It's one of Bandcamp's best albums of November. Boom, we're out here.
Yeah.
So I'm hitting the post office tomorrow. The fucking orders are ringing off overseas, domestically. I'm looking at my shelf. I got about 8 mini discs left forever. So whatever Bandcamp says, I keep 5 in the cup for the homies. I don't know how many homies have the mini disc player, but we get the mini disc popping. The CDs are bountiful. Tapes are almost out of here. So if you're planning on,
you sold out of cassettes. You sold out of cassettes.
We did.
Amazing.
There might be some later on with bundles, because I actually mislabeled the number of cassettes we have available. So if you're a cassette collector, fear not. We'll make them available soon. I have a couple more, but CDs are cracking, and then Bandcamp Day on December, whatever fucking day, the last one of 2021. Hit us off with the digital. Grab the Defcee record digital. Like, I'm doing that shit. I want him and Messiah to get all the bread and Backwoods. So closing thoughts on this album. I just want to say that this shit is, knowing both you guys as collaborators and as fans and as people as best I can, sitting in my house in Philly. I think the album is a total fucking triumph. And I think it's one of those things where, like Dan O and I were texting about it, and he posted on your Bandcamp where he's being very correct. It's like, it's an album that you'll go back to every year on the anniversary of it and be like, oh shit, this song is my shit now. Oh, he said this part. Oh, like there's so many layers and pieces of it. And it's like, I appreciate it so much because like, it's the opposite of how I've been writing the last 3-4 years, where like I write with like a lot of immediacy. And this shit has a lot of that on top of things lined up in a way where even on my second listen and third and fourth and fifth listen, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So, and then like, again, like the car experience of listening to the bass lines and the low pass and high pass filters that Messiah is doing and Willie Green's doing. There's just so many cool fucking things like, Freddie Old Soul, Convertible Ashley, Joshua Virtue, like people I don't know at all. I'm a fan of. And then Castro, Alaska, and Prem, and Arm & Hammer, and Canyons. There's just so many parts of this record that I think are fucking phenomenal. And we're lucky to have you guys on, and for us to do a liner notes on Trapdoor. I feel like this is an episode, hopefully, again, when people discover this album, they'll discover this episode to hear more, which has happened for us in the past. So I just want to say thanks for coming on and making timeless fucking art, bro. That's it.
I want to say,
there you go,
that there's 2 words to define this album for both of y'all, and that would be definitive work.
Get them.
And it's very important to have your definitive work in your catalog.
Get them.
When people ask about you, sight unseen, they'll point people in this direction to your definitive work. Yep. Like I was telling Def when he did his Instagram listening session the other day, it was like, there's a great time. We're making the best music of our lives.
Yup.
There's nothing to be upset about or disgruntled or discouraged. We are all making some of the best music in our lives at very significant points in our careers, way past the point of quote unquote expiration, way past the point of we supposed to make it here, there, or some other time than not now. And I just want to commend all of us and just salute all of us. We're just making some great, great music. There's nothing is falling below the bar, and everybody is holding their place in line. Like, this is the greatest tug of war team you've ever seen. The next man got you, and the next man got you, and the next man got you. And the next woman got you. Shout out Freddie Old Soul. That verse is incredible. It's incredible.
Wiping the pyramid dust off her shoulders because she's godly.
Come on, yo. What the fuck you talking about? But yeah, we're here at Call Out Culture. We want to thank Defcee for coming. We want to thank Messiah for coming. We want to thank all the listeners, all our Patreons, all our Twitter followers, all our YouTube watchers, all that stuff. We're very thankful. I don't know why I'm being like this.
Thank you guys, man. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you to Defcee. I'm so proud of this record. I'm proud that he entrusted me and my sound for it to really plant his flag. So yeah, man, I'm just appreciative. Defcee, I'm going to turn it over to you, man.
Yeah, so I think first and foremost, thank you to Messiah, thank you to Woods, Lamont Well, and Castro.
Yeah, shouts to Woods, man.
Shouts to Lamont.
And Castro, whose input really helped shape what this album became, because there was a point in time where this was a good album, but I think their input helped make it a great album.
Agreed.
Yeah, salute.
Shouts to Woods, everybody at the label again, just for due diligence and believing in it for so long, because when I first brought this record up to Woods and sent him demos of the first joints, this is back in like 2015. When we started working on it, I hadn't met Woods yet. So the fact that he was willing to wait, willing to give it feedback and time and resources, and Anton at the label as well, that really meant a lot to me. And as far as kind of the response has been, anytime I get a positive response to anything I do, whether large or small scale, it takes me back to where I was when I wrote my first rhyme. And like I was just 11 years old writing raps because I was like an angsty white kid in the suburbs who had a whole bunch of feelings and an affinity for hip hop and didn't necessarily know how to express himself very well. And for all of the grandiose dreams that I had of being like, a superstar rapper, for those dreams to collapse, and then for those dreams to then kind of find new ground and an audience and people who really support and believe in what I do, always makes me emotional, humbles me, and inspires so much gratitude. So I really appreciate everybody who's been putting on for the album. I appreciate the two of you for allowing me to invite myself to your party yet again, because this is one of the podcasts that I think really reshapes how I look at my art. I think I make music, obviously, you two in Alaska in mind. I try to impress you guys because I know if I'm impressed you guys, I've done something right. And
bro, I was live texting you last week playing the album driving with my knees, about to smash into cars on 95 outside the Sixers fucking arena.
What a fatherly figure.
Well, my son wasn't in the vehicle, clearly. So it's a different world when the kid's in the car. When
True.
I'm by myself, I'm pretty reckless. I don't care.
True. Very true. So yeah, thank you guys for the constant support and belief over the years. And I don't want to speak for Messiah, but I know next year is about to be crazy. So if everything falls into place the way that it should, next year is going to be a pretty great year, and for both of us. And
that's how it should be.
And the beats that we have in the can, some of the songs we got for this follow-up.
What?
And designed for live shows. So I'm really looking forward to being able to, like, when I have the capacity to do so, take this album on the road and take the next album on the road. Yeah, these joints are gonna ring off for sure.
Look at you. Come to Philly, man.
Of course.
I'll get you a baby.
Me and Prem are gonna do another run. We coming through Chicago. would say we're gonna put you on
It's
the
just a
bill.
drive
So,
away
All right,
from
I'm
me.
gonna come too. I'm coming. I haven't been to Chicago since 2009 or 10. I'm gonna come through.
Okay. All right, cool. Look,
I'll be there.
depending on when y'all come for the tour, if we have, you know what? I don't know if the podcast is still running or not. Y'all can probably edit this out.
Yep.
If y'all come through for the tour, if somebody needs somewhere to stay, we got an extra room here.
Bang.
So,
yeah, me and Prim, it would be me, Prim, and Jesse the Tree. So yeah, we're working on it.
all right, word.
Sometime in the
Just keep me
spring.
posted, man. Keep me
Yeah.
posted.
Yeah, it'll be a while because I got some recuperation to do. So it'll be a while.
Perfect, because this baby needs to get older before we start bringing people in the
Yeah,
crib.
straight up
Shit.
babies, bro. Babies, so annoying, so young, so cute. Wow,
Yeah.
annoying. No, I'm just kidding.
Mostly cute.
Tell me
Babies
about
are
it.
the shit. I'll sleep right through it.
He didn't
That's the
sleep.
baby.
Z was,
That's the baby
Z was,
Defcee.
Z
Dog,
was- Z
my
was sleeping.
son, my fucking son, this guy, 18 months till he was like sleeping good, like no issues. 16 months, something like that. So yeah, I'm catching up on that shut eye, dog. Oh, days are over.
Wrap it up, Z.
Anywho, live from Liner Notes, Trapdoor on Backwoods
Oh, wait.
Studios.
Let's close it out with this. Why is the album named Trapdoor?
Oh, so initially this album was going to be called The Institute of Living. So my dad is from
Love
West
the title.
Hartford, Connecticut, originally, former
Shouts to the
journalist.
Whalers.
Yeah.
Shouts to Brendan Shanahan.
Shout out to UConn. And my father has an encyclopedic
Calhoun.
knowledge. Yep. Jim Cutter
Jim
Calhoun.
Calhoun, Donnie
Jim Cutter
Marshall,
Calhoun.
Ron Sheffer.
But
Oh,
yeah.
Big Duran. Israeli stand up.
Sorry, all of these are references I get. So I got distracted because
Travis Knight.
But
Travis Knight.
no, so my dad, you'll have conversations with him about certain things, and then just kind of this random Connecticut knowledge will pop up. So when we initially had started making the album, my dad had mentioned the Institute of Living, which is like a renowned clinic in Hartford.
Okay.
And I heard it and I was like, that's a fire album title. And then when I started to like really work on making it to the finish line, I researched it. And there were some things that I read about it where I was like, nah, like this will work as a song title. This is not going to work as an album title. I do not want to put this name on this album, considering the legacy of certain things that happened there. And then Trapdoor was what came to me immediately because I thought of all of the different song concepts, and every song occupies spaces in terms of like an entry or an exit or an escape or something that could keep you frozen in place. So trap door, right?
Wow.
So even a song like Muscle on its face is about resilience and persistence.
Yeah.
Also about all of the things that we got to suppress as men in order to feel like we're going to be able to make it through something. Even a song like Post is about is about finding happiness and hope in the face of understanding that like there's a lot of evidence that there isn't much to be hopeful about. So that's where the title Trapdoor came from. And yeah, it hit me like a bolt of lightning. So like everything else with this album, the right inspiration hit me at the right time.
All right, and that is Live from the Liner Notes, Trapdoor. Ladies and gentlemen, call out Bucks. We out.
We out.
Talk songs.